Is sound working today? I'm just starting off with that. Can you hear me? Please, just tell me, can you hear me? Is anybody out there? That's where we're starting off on that. Mento, it's your second Mento. Second. Hello? Anybody out there? Hello, humans? Yes, there's sound. We're doing well. Okay. Hi, guys. We're in the, it's, Kiko, you're my ray of light. I hope you're doing okay, my darling. I know it's big hearts still. I'm sending you hearts every week on this until you're healed up. And I know that's going to be a long process. So it's evening, guys. Evening. It's hello, faithful. It is just me tonight. I'm going to be joined by a science journalist friend on Sunday. I think from now on we're going to do one guest a week. We might switch that up when there's a thing going on, when I have chance for a really good guest. But I kind of wanted to get in as many people as possible going up to the election, because I was losing my mind, as many of us were. But now that we are post-election, and it's things have hopefully, my brain's doing a little better. Things are smoothing out, and now we're in. I want to do a little bit more. One of the streams per week I want to engage directly with you guys, and one of the streams per week I want to have a guest on for anyone. Anyways, yes, the questions first are you feeling better? I'm pretty sure I just had a light cold. Like, it was weird. I had like phantom sinus pressure where like nothing was up there. Like, I occasionally was blowing my nose, but like it felt, and I mean, here's the thing, I have a permanent headache on one side of my head. So sometimes I just have a headache, and if there's any other minor symptom, like I feel like I might be dying. But it's Henry. Oh, Henry Ortega. I got my jars of Nutella and my fidget thingy. Oh, by the way, I'll get to that in a quick moment. Sorry, I get very easily distracted, as you guys can see. But yeah, yeah. So I got the sore throat, and it was staying there for a few days, and I've gotten this nasty like month-long cold that started off with a sore throat that felt like that, and it was getting a little worse and a little worse, and it's like just kind of went away like nothing a couple days ago, and just it's, hold on a second, was it Wednesday I woke up and I'm like, I feel completely fine. And like I had a phone appointment with my primary care physician on Monday for something, completely unrelated. And he was like, just in case, we'll order you a COVID test. I'm like, I don't think that's, but okay. So he orders me a COVID test, and I just, I hadn't gotten off my ass to go get it because my husband had already gotten a COVID test earlier in the week. I'm like, I'm going to wait and see what his comes back as and see if I get any worse. Cause like, I don't want to take up resource right now. I'm like, I really, really, really didn't think I had it. I didn't want to take up resources that, for people for turnaround time for people who really did have it, that kind of stuff. Anyways, my husband's came back negative. Another one of my housemates came back negative. I had another doctor's appointment scheduled for Wednesday, and they're like, hey, because you because we see that you have a test scheduled or test ordered in the system, you can't come in for your appointment. So we're moving, this is a little personal, but I think it's funny. We're moving your gynecology appointment to a telehealth. I'm like, do I just back my bitch? Like, what do I do? Just, back it up to the camera, and like, how do we, like, do I call one of my porn star friends and be like, so how do I do camera angles with this? Like, anyways, but that was my Wednesday. But yeah, I'm going to call my doctor and be like, can we just cancel the COVID? Like, no one in my house is sick. I feel fine. This is very clearly not COVID. There's no point in wasting this test. It was a very minor cold. I'm fine. I'm a wuss to any amount of pain. But yeah, like here's one of the complications of being chronically ill, whilst there is whilst there's this death in the air. If you have something that causes any symptoms that can be mistaken for the COVID, you're like, it's where does my normal shit end and this begin? Like, one of my medications can fuck with my appetite. I'm on a low dose of Topamax, partially for headache control, and it can cause taste disturbances with carbonated beverages. I've just before anyone comments, occasionally I switch it up from a Diet Coke. Today, root beer. Anyways, but it can cause taste disturbances with things that are carbonated. It can also occasionally cause appetite disturbances. And like earlier in the week, I just wasn't hungry at all. I'm like, not getting hungry. I wasn't having any taste or smell issues, but like not getting hungry at all. One of my girlfriends, like very early in the pandemic, just because she had I don't think she ended up being diagnosed with COVID, but from just appetite loss, her doctor was like, you need to go in and get a test now. So those were, there are things that can just screw you up on not knowing if you have it or not. But yeah, that was terrifying. Anyways, and somebody, this is interesting. We're still getting people who are sick and don't test positive, and we don't know if they just have one of the zillion viruses floating around that can make you feel like hell, or COVID. Somebody emailed me earlier saying, look, I work in a medical office. Multiple people have tested positive for COVID. I have all the symptoms, but I'm not testing positive. Is it possible to have COVID and not test positive? Absolutely. We see it's, and I mean, I don't know if the tests, like, I haven't seen a lot about testing, but I know, or getting, improving since the I'm sure it has, but like, all along there were reports of people who weren't testing positive, but had this, were being diagnosed clinically because of their labs, because of their lung scans. So yes, for sure. It happens that people, are getting COVID but aren't testing. So, anyways, that's what's up with that. Anyways, so Martin Waters just said, as I get closer to 40, I've become more of a hypochondriac. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, and I think I think the reason, like in the last month or so, it's like I hate that this has happened. The last month or so, like 4 of my friends have been diagnosed with cancer. That'll make, like, I think there's like the fear that death is coming, because eventually, like, you got a finite amount of time here, and with each day that goes by there is less. So like eventually, like, more bad stuff will happen to your health as you get older. Like, you wake up and you hurt just because you woke up, and that feels wrong somehow. But the older you get, I think it's kind of normal that you become a hypochondriac, because you see more bad health things happen to your friends. You see, like, more shit happens to you, and it's like you get suspicious every time something hurts a little bit. So yeah, normalish. But like I feel like I'm both occasionally a hypochondriac and I have a lot of shit wrong with me. So try to keep it like I try to keep my skeptic mind in there and go, anytime something hurts a little bit, be like, okay, Yvette, is this just one of your normal things that hurts a little bit? Like, don't panic and go to WebMD. That's not a good idea. So I try really, really hard not to panic and go to WebMD and hunt around to be like, what is this new thing? And just, it's probably just, I'm 37. I played a lot of sports. I ran an ultra marathon on a busted labrum. It's shit happened and I'm going to hurt. So it's easier to think of it that. Anyways. Oh man. Stephen Reese just said, I'll be 55 on Christmas Eve. I fucking miss 40. I'm 37 and I fucking miss 27. Like, I had, I ran a lot. Like, when I first got sick with my headaches, like I've talked a little bit about this before. I think I wrote a guest wrote a blog entry for James Fell's site talking about my COVID diagnosis, or COVID diagnosis, Jesus Christ, my headaches and when they started. But like, we didn't know. I had a really, really off diagnosis. We'll get to the COVID in a second. We're going down a rabbit hole of me right now. But my headaches are kind of how I got into being Sci Babe eventually. Long rabbit hole, but started, the headache kind of started one day and never went away, and that'll fuck up your life. And this is why I keep telling you, you don't want to get COVID, because a lot of people who get COVID seem to end up with a chronic illness, and chronic illness will fuck up your life. I know. I have a couple of them, and it's unpleasant. You don't want this. Anyways, so I get this headache one day, it doesn't go away. And we have to go through a zillion doctors to try to figure out what's wrong with me, what the deal is, what the right medications are. And we figure out, like, one weird thing, because I get misdiagnosed at first as having cluster headaches. And I'm just they don't send me to a headache specialist. They don't send me to a neurologist. My doctor, like, and my doctor was, she was a good doctor. She was trying. She was, she listened to me. I was afraid to like come across as a drug seeker. So, I was afraid to ask for more of just, the first medication they put me on. But like they gave me, normal, typical meds that you prescribe for whatchamacallit, for cluster headaches, which I believe were Topamax. And here's the thing, they gave me the medication that I'm on full time now right away. It was the first med they ever prescribed for me. They just didn't prescribe the right amount. Like that kills me, like when I think about that, because it's like we could have, if I just gotten to the right doctor right away, I could have not had a fucking decade of misery. But you guys wouldn't, I wouldn't be this funny now. Anyways, but so we got I see somebody in the comments saying 37 and tried bouldering for the first time, bicep all messed up on day one. Ellery, I'm a boulderer when I can be, and there are times when I just fuck up a shoulder for a couple weeks. Bouldering is it giveth that it taketh. Anyways, back to the headaches. So when I was diagnosed incorrectly as cluster headaches, Michael Bach is giving advice on how to treat cluster. I don't have cluster headaches. I have hemicrania continua. Like I said, misdiagnosed with cluster headaches. Anyways, but I was trying to find anything I could to get this shit under control, right? Because miserable pain, and I'm trying to, not be miserable, right? So I'm looking up information on cluster headaches, and one of the things it said was vigorous exercise could get an attack under control. I was desperate, and I was really overweight at the time. I was nearly 250 pounds, and I'm like, fuck it. I'll get my ass to the gym and start working out. And that was when they'd first put me on Topamax, and I had no appetite. And here's the thing, I lost a lot of weight in a short period of time between that combination, which was a little, I don't know if that was healthy or not. I legitimately don't, but it also shut up doctors who were like, if you just exercised and lost weight, your headaches would go right away. Yeah, I ran an ultra marathon a year and a half after my headache started. So anyways, but I found that when I was running, I didn't have a headache. Like, and I didn't know. And like, I thought that was like indicative of it being cluster headaches. It's like, oh, while I'm working out, my headache seems to not be there. And man, that was, good motivation for me to work out a lot. I did a ton of cardio. I loved cardio. Like I'm that fucking weirdo. So I did just, cardio. I think I lost the first 60 pounds doing an exercise bike, and I'm like, I have plateaued. And I, switched over to running, and 4 months later ran my first half marathon, and I dug running. My joints being so fucked up, running did not love me back. I miss it a lot. If your joints can hold up to it, joints are wonderful. Joints are wonderful. Anyways, if your joints can hold up to it, running is wonderful. But it was awful having my headaches blamed on my weight, because that probably held up my care for a little while. But here's the weird fucking thing. Because I was misdiagnosed, because I got bad information, or I wasn't I should not have been translating Wikipedia articles to care. I read this thing saying, vigorous exercise could abort an attack. And so I did all this exercise, which got me into really good shape, right? It was the first time in my life I was like, I'd been an athlete all through school, but I'd never been at a quote healthy weight. And we can get into that. Like, that's another discussion for another day, but I'd never been at a quote medically healthy weight until then. And it was because I had read this thing saying exercise can abort an attack. And for whatever reason, whatever reason, I was not in pain when I was working out. Then come to find out, it's because I was told, I was prescribed the medication that we figure out I have to take it all day long. I took that medication in the morning, and I went to the gym in the morning. So I did all that running because I was under the mistaken belief that the running was helping my fucking headaches. And it was the indomethacin that I was prescribed that I took in the morning before the gym. So I I wanted to share that correlation's not causation. I want to share the funny story with you guys because that's how I ended up via misattribution and correlation via causation error running an ultra marathon. Anyways, my advice to you, if you ever considered running an ultra marathon, get tested to see if you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome first. See if you check with your doctor about the health of your joints first. Also, just fucking don't do it. It's a bad idea. Stop at a health. At half marathons are okay, but something happens around like mile 17 where like your brain starts to leave your body and you're like, could I just collect a half marathon medal? Anyways, Al Ferguson just commented, "You got healthy for nothing." No, here's the thing. I think it is it's a great idea to get healthy, to go to the gym, to do a lot of the working out. Running an ultra marathon though, that's not smart. There's a silly like that. That's where like I think I wake up every morning with aching hips because of that, and I've been told I'm going to need a hip replacement and or a restructuring because my hips were not meant to run that ultra. But I was really, really happy that I got that out because now like I loved running. I really, really enjoyed it. And I don't think my joints are going to get, even if I hadn't done that, my joints, because I have Ehlers-Danlos, are just going to keep getting unhealthier with age. So I got that whilst I was young and healthy. And I think that all started with us talking about, we're getting old. Yep, we're all old. So I think we can, let's get back off that topic of being really old. Get back to the subject of COVID because that was a long detour, but I'm glad you guys went on that with me. Let's see, 80. I apologize in advance for possibly butchering your name. 80 Wonberg. Anyways, did you try exercising in the afternoon and wonder why it's not working? I didn't, and it's just because I was working second shift. So I always worked in the morning. I worked out in the morning before work, and I loved working second shift. It fit in well with with how I like to, kind of, it's come to at like 9 a.m. It really worked for me. Let's see, scrolling through. So I'm going to go through some of the questions that were submitted earlier and try to catch us up on the COVIDs this week, because this is fucking horrifying. And I want to quickly answer. I want to answer Mento Darmento's question here, and then get back over to someone's comment from earlier that I missed. Anyways. How's the vaccine trial going? So for vaccine trial, like it's no change. Like it's nothing. Like I just have to on twice a week. I just have to input whatchamacallit. I thought that because they sent me home with the thermometer at a pulse ox, I thought that every single I thought that every single week I'd have to give them my O2 and my temperature. And instead, Reed just asked what kind of headaches were the final diagnosis. I have a condition called hemicrania continua. I actually had my headache doctor on here several months ago now. So if you want to go back and find that, there's a video of me with my headache doctor talking this out, and he's an exceptionally good headache doctor. His name is Rich Hershinger. Anyways, so J&J trial, that's the one I'm in, and I do not know if I got the placebo or the vaccine. I will not know for a good long time. It is a 2-year long trial, and it's just 30,000 people got the vaccine, and 30,000 people got the placebo. So. Not sure. And it's funny, my housemate, Annette, she's in the Pfizer trial, and she thinks, at first she thought she might have gotten the vaccine. And now, because when she went in for the second shot, and a lot of people are saying they got more of a reaction after the second shot and she got nothing. She's like, we have 2 people who are in vaccine trials, and both of us think we got the placebo. Thank you, Martha, for this information. The Pfizer trial is planning on breaking the blind. Yeah, and she's really excited about this because she thinks that she thinks that they're going to get first access to the vaccine. She's not sure, but one fewer potential vectors coming into the house, man. That'd be fantastic. Lauren just asked, are you going to take an antibody test? So I found out there's a reason why I surround myself with people who are smarter and better educated than me in the field of medicine. I have from the SciDoc, who occasionally will post on here, and he also, I believe, runs the Virus Splainer, or is one of the admin team. I'm not sure which, but I see him mentioning that every so often. But it's the antibodies that this vaccine creates are not the same antibodies as the wild type antibodies that COVID itself creates. I'm not sure the exact chemical makeup of it, but I don't believe it will trigger an antibody test that's testing for COVID antibodies, like at any commercial lab. So there's no, so basically when I go in every few months so I have to go, I think this is a good time to update this for, sorry for the stuttering. So this is a good way to update this. I did have to go in for my next appointment at the whatchamacallit, at Anaheim Clinical Trials. I'm sorry. And like the second appointment is just, they're taking a couple of vials of blood, and, they're doing they do a COVID test. They do an antibody test. They do a test to, see if you if you have symptoms, obviously they're telling you don't fucking come in. If you have to twice a week tell them, do you have any symptoms into the little app. And, when you say if you have symptoms, there's if you say yes, you have symptoms, there's a fucking lot of questions after that. They also have a home test kit for you to spit into if you do answer that you have symptoms. So I admit it. I probably there's a part of me that wonders should I have taken that test kit earlier in this week? And I'm I don't know, but I also really, 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 really did not think I had COVID, and still, because again, the person I swap spit with on a daily basis didn't tested negative. There's no way. It's until someone else in the house starts getting sick, there's no fucking way. Anyways, but yeah, it's trial's going well. I've gotten emails from so many of you guys who've said that you've signed up for the trial, you've applied for the trial, or you're no longer afraid of getting the vaccine because I've been upfront and told you guys about the process for this. This makes me so happy. It's just tons of individuals going to this place, signing up of their own volition, because it's number one, because they want to be first in line. They're like, give me this immunity. But two, they want this, they want this or this prevention to get to market. So, it was funny. One of the people who I met at the trial site, I believe lived in my same neighborhood. So, and we had to drive an hour away to Anaheim. So just go figure. Someone else had driven all the way up from San Diego. It was just, people were, it's when people are it's run by Bill Gates to inject you with a micro, dude, this is just a bunch of individuals at a strip mall, or not a strip mall, but just at a business, at regular old, business park type structure with a bunch of scientists who are drawing your blood and doing the analyses and doing all the due diligence that you need to get this thing to market. So hold on a second. I want to, somebody pointed out, Mata was negative and her wife was really sick though. Yeah, that's, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but man, it's the few minutes of her talking about her wife were God, or I don't know if it's her wife or partner. I don't want to misspeak on that. Anyways, sorry. This was a question on this. Are you sure at injection site has anything to do with what's injected? So that's from what I understand, saline in general will not cause any injection site reaction. But the other thing is I didn't get and there was no not even the slightest bit of swelling, no reaction, nothing. And normally, when I get a flu, and I've been told, I remember I got the Tdap and the MMR vaccine on the same day, and I got one in one arm, one in the other. And I was told, I want to say it was Tdap, that just a warning, this is gonna suck. And indeed it did. And I found when I was younger, the flu shot didn't hurt as much. And I found now that I get a very stiff arm for several days afterwards. So I'm not sure if it's specific vaccines. I'm not sure if it's getting older, but yeah, it does seem to be the actual, the immunity building up or something from the vaccine itself, not the injection. So there we go. Barbara Furman said, "Did I miss our Cy Babes singing?" I wasn't planning on singing today, but it's we're my my housemates and I have joked about have thrown around the idea of doing a holiday special on Thanksgiving of us all doing some singing on, because why not? That's a thing we could do. We're a house of musicians. We have a bangle here. We have one single bangle in the house. That's a thing. So I think if I pick up the dog and give him some snuggles, perhaps. What's wrong, buddy? What's wrong, my baby boy? What's happening? What are you doing? Why are you so sad? Are you okay? You gonna be all right? Yes. So at the beginning of this, when I was coming over here to my little corner, my husband just recently got me an electric blanket because I am constantly freezing. And Buddy also loves the electric blanket because he is very teensy, and teensy dogs do not produce enough heat, but he is also a fussy teensy dog. And he's like, don't put a sweater on me. Don't do a thing that would make my situation better. Kind of like some humans I know. But anyways, he likes that electric blanket very much. He and the cats will fucking fight over that they're like, I want the prime spot on Bubby's lap on the electric blanket. Anyways, but I was trying to get the electric blanket over here because I wanted the electric blanket. But he's like, I'm not getting off of it. He's 11 pounds and he runs the house. So yeah, that's the dog. Anyways, anyways, let's go back to, let's try to snag a few more questions. So there was one question that somebody asked about how they can trust. Somebody asked, did you get some socks? I got many socks. I got all of the socks. So I want to quickly, it's other than you guys, so beginning of the pandemic, I want to quickly throw out some appreciation and of course a quick call to action. Beginning of the pandemic, I was, making my living as a writer. I was writing for The Outline, which closed right after I submitted a 5,000 word article, and I get paid by the word there. And I was like, what am I going to do? Opened up a Patreon. Thank you guys for helping make this all possible. And I was like, I want to get information out to people that they feel they can trust. So part of the reason I like doing this is that I feel like you guys feel that this is coming straight to you, and it's not being influenced by anything. And it's nice that that it's something that's that's. I hate using. I don't know if the term fan backed is right, but fan backed. It's nice that there's something that's that after people were suspicious for a while because I gave talks to big corporations, and that was where some of this that was how I was keeping alive. It's nice that that's not a suspicion behind some of the things I'm saying now. So I'm glad that that this is where I'm at with this now. So anyways, thank you guys for being my patrons. But the other thing that has been fun lately, I added on just in the last few weeks my Amazon wish list onto the bottom of this, and you guys have sent me so much fucking candy. Oh my god! But like I'm. It's number one. Someone sent me a toaster, and thank you because I really needed a new toaster. I had a wonderful toaster. Russell just said we're fans. Get over it. Thank you. You love me. You really it's. Look, I had a bad childhood with a father that told me I would amount to nothing, and it was awful. And like I have no confidence. And so when you guys are nice to me, thank you. I love you. You're all very nice. Anyways, but like a toaster arrived this week and I needed a toaster, and it's a very nice toaster. And anyways, I've been so delighted with the things and I get it. These are things that I put on the list, but like the fact that you guys have somebody sent the 1.5 pounds of marshmallows, and like there was no that made me so happy. Somebody sent one of the little fidget cubes. I've been sent many pairs of socks, and I'm so happy because I love warm socks. What else? And like I said, I've been sent so much candy. So much fucking candy. Whichever one of you guys sent the gummy bears, they're my husband's favorite. By proxy, you've made my week better by making his week better. Anyways, it's Lauren O'Brien asked, where can we find your Amazon wish list? The very last line of the in the description of this video has the Amazon wish list. Also, if you want to I also do an extra and very personal. It's an extra 2-hour long live stream for the patrons every month. It's the last Saturday of every month, last Saturday at noon generally. And just if something comes up, we switch it around. But anyways, so if you guys want more of this if you want to keep a science communicator off the streets, it's just $1 a month. It's, as I like to look at it, as an optional subscription service to try to help keep the party going. You guys caught me. So you're wearing pants this time? I am wearing pants this time. It's winter and I live in, it's late fall and I live in an attic. So indeed. It's, Lord, it's, the Diet Coke link is, I'll have to fix the Diet Coke links. I'm very sad. Look, I'm a failure clearly if I can't get the Diet Coke links to work, but I'll get them up. But no, there's so much candy. Somebody said, and I have to I have a few favorite candies in the universe. I think Starburst is a superior candy to most all other candies except the freaking the wrappers. That's a problem. But somebody sent a box of 60 Airheads. Oh my God. I both love and hate you. My tongue has been it looks like I blew a Smurf pretty much every night of the week. So anyways, thank you guys again. Knowing that there are packages showing up every day of just random bits of candy and fidget cubes and this has made it has made this all so much more delightful. Like being stuck at home and knowing that occasionally something that's going to keep my tootsies warm is showing up. Oh, like I said. So I cannot say how much I don't have the word. I'm stuttering over how much I appreciate you all. I love you. Anyways, so it's Starburst roasted on a campfire. Roasted Starburst? You. Oh, I don't know you, and yet I love you, Ellery. This is fantastic. I'm glad that I'm glad that I could make you guys giggle with Blue Smurf. I know my friend Matt was on here a few weeks ago and he suggested I change the minimum on my Patreon to $2. And I'll probably I might eventually I might grandfather in the people who were there at the $1 level and switch it up to $2 for the minimum. But I like that. Here's the thing. Most people do pay more than $1. So I think you guys are fantastic, and I'm very grateful for your support. I don't think you understand how deeply grateful I am. It is a kindness that you guys are doing this for me. Anyways, let's back to the COVID. I feel like this has just turned into after many weeks of this being a horrible election. Oh my God, everything's going to hell. This just feels so much more relaxed and easy. It's nice. It's different. We should probably chat a little bit about that horrible, scary pandemic that we're still in apparently. So how many of you guys have family that you're dealing with? They're like, we should still have a get together. And I'm fortunate that my family has just had me screaming at them for a few, for this entire thing, that they're all like, now we're going to stay home. There's none of that. I'm sure you guys are still cut. Some of you out there are still dealing with it. It's just, do you know what you're at this point? Is it just, I'm just not going and hoping that they're not going to screw it up? Henry Ortega just announced that I appreciate this announcement. This is Don Jr. has COVID. I tweeted about this earlier, and I want to be clear so that you guys know where I stand on this. I don't want anyone to accidentally mistake me for a nice person, is what I'm coming down to. So earlier when it was announced that Donnie J had some COVID, I tweeted out this. I think you can see that, right? If it's focusing, you can see the lines of ha 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 ha, but seriously, fuck these plague rats. I think that works. That was about accurate. That was my tweet regarding Donnie J. I'm has Rudy Giuliani gotten it yet? I'm just fingers crossed. But my follow up to that, because I know some people might have taken that as me wishing harm upon the son of the president. So I followed that up with the next tweet. I want to clarify, lest anybody gets the wrong impression. I sincerely hope Junior is suffering and in severe pain as recompense for the damage his family has done to society via mismanagement of this disease, and I could not care less if he fucking dies. Plague rats. Fuck them all. Rat lickers. Rat lickers. I'm a little terrified of Rudy Giuliani right now. I think he's molting before our eyes. We might be watching him turn into his final form. Maybe he went through a transporter beam with a fly. That could explain actually several things. Especially the cousin fucking. Who knows? Anyways, so that's been my day on Twitter. Followed by right-wingers saying, so much for the tolerant left. Yep, you guys ignored 250,000 dead Americans. Anyways, so speaking of people potentially dying, I'm like, let's chat a little bit more about this. So this came up earlier, and we're not surprised at all. And I still have I have friends that are allegedly smart that are in denial of this. I posted this article earlier from the New York Times. States that impose the fewest regulations now have the worst outbreaks. South Dakota is leading the world in cases per million. And this was a few days. Last time I looked, it was, I think, 70,000 per million. Their fatality rate is not the highest yet. But of course, it's because we have severely undertested New York at the beginning of the pandemic. It's suspected that New York more than likely has the actual highest rate of cases per million. But, like I said, beginning of pandemic. At the moment, though, the highest rate of people that are walking around ready to cough you into an early grave. Oh, South Dakota and North Dakota, man. Why am I not surprised? The states, one of the states that produced Tomilarin, is at the center of this. It just seems right. It tracks. It tracks. Just as a complete side note, I don't know if you guys saw this earlier today. This was just fun. But Edward Norton, like the actor Edward Norton, went on this wonderfully nuanced rant today about why he thinks Trump is doing what he's doing right now. And I was like, I did not expect Tyler Durden to break down with such nuanced 21st century politics. But anyways, if at some point after this you want to go check that out, you should go check that out. That was the delight of my day. I am Jack's raging bile duct at democracy falling apart. Anyways, going through a couple of questions. One of them was, how can we trust the vaccine trial if it's going this quickly? Now, that is a completely understandable question. And that was here's the thing. If you are looking at this going, I want to see, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to see from this versus, another vaccine trial? And that's really what we want to get to at the heart of this. Do we have enough evidence? And I look at this and go, I think we have enough because we've done phase 1, 2, 3 trials. We're getting out of all of these, and I get it. It's quote only 3 months, but the likelihood, knowing what we do about all the other ingredients that are going into this vaccine, because that's kind of how they've been able to bypass it. Is all the other, normally they go through ingredient by ingredient. So I don't know if components, sorry, ingredients for cooking, component by component, and test, more. They basically redo some of the work that gets done for other vaccines, and they go animal trial very slowly. This time, they've skipped over some things by using data from previous studies, and they've kind of overlapped things. So they've overlapped some of the animal with some of the human. They did phase 1 and 2 trial. Phase 1 and 2 trials together, before a fully, fully robust review, a review, but not quite as long of a review period of the phase 1 and 2 trials. They already had phase 3 trials starting, and right now, they are rushing through, the phase 3. Now that they have basically data showing nobody's having major reactions, and that's when we've never really seen a long-term issue with the vaccine. From what I understand, if someone in the comments wants to correct me on this, like if there's evidence of it, if I'm wrong, please drop a link in there. If you're an anti-vaxxer, I'll fucking kick you out of here, but go ahead. But if there's evidence that we've seen long-term issues with as a result of a vaccine, please correct me on this. But we've never seen long-term reactions, widespread long-term reactions to a vaccine. Like there are rumors that still scare people off from getting Gardasil, from getting the from getting the HPV vaccine, because people think that there are various ailments that people have come down with from that one, and they are just not true. The only thing that Gardasil does is prevent cancer and maybe some genital warts. I'm just saying, good vaccine, really good vaccine, cut down on the rates of cancer. We actually have a vaccine that prevents cancer, and people made up rumors that scared people off of it. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, we've not. So we have to measure. So after, I hope that I can talk you through not being scared of the possibility that there are long-term side effects, because we've tested all these components, right? And we've put it through 30,000 people. All these vaccines are going through 30,000 people, 30,000, and most of the side effects are just sore arm. Some people have gotten a low-grade fever. Some people have had general malaise. Some people have been a little tired. Compare that to don't compare that to zero, okay? Because you're not looking at zero. You're looking at the 100% chance that you will eventually in your lifetime walk into a COVID virus, okay? Even if there is a 1% chance with the coronavirus vaccine of having bad complications, of having some complications, you're going to what's your chances of having a bad case of fucking, and here's the thing, it's not a 1% chance of having a really bad reaction. There have been no recorded really terrible reactions to this. They're just, people having general, like I said, general malaise, people feeling a little bad overnight. No one's getting ground glass opacity on their lung scans. Nobody is having kidney failure. Nobody is getting their legs amputated from this. Nobody is having strokes from this. It's nobody's losing their sense of smell for 8 months on end from the vaccine. So I understand the worry about long-term side effects. I understand that it was rushed. I understand that there are concerns about this. But you can't look at the vaccine and go, I don't have perfect 100% years-long complete data. You have to go, what am I comparing? What are my realities that I can have? Is it going to be the vaccine or is it like this is, and it's kind of anti-vaxxer, mentality. Like, am I going to end up with a vaccine, or just, am I going to be like, is it perfect health, with nothing, or is it perfect health with a vaccine? Like, you're just remember, it's the vaccine or COVID. It's not the vaccine or nothing. So, and part of it is that we kind of do this to ourselves, where because when you get a vaccine, most of the time nothing happens. You sit there and wonder, what's going on in my body? So if nothing happens, you're kind of that's part of why people get suspicious of vaccines. It's because if it works, nothing happens to you, just nothing. So that's why, there has been way before the modern anti-vax movement that we think of as starting with Andrew Wakefield, there's been suspicion of vaccines for a long time, and it's because of the nature of them. But like with this one, and I get it, because it started because of a fucking Trump administration, because it went through so fast, because of Operation Warp Speed, which, to be clear, Pfizer, I believe they worked with let's clear something up. Pfizer worked with the Trump administration on distribution planning, but they did not get any funding from the Trump administration from Operation Warp Speed. I think I took a little bit too much caffeine earlier, which is why I think I'm tripping over myself talking today. So I apologize for that. I am catching myself stuttering quite a bit today. Whew. This one only has 22 milligrams of caffeine, I swear. But it's clearly too much. But I see somebody over on Periscope saying nobody is dying of pneumonia or the flu anymore. All right, so let's talk about Let's talk about that Boston fucking tea if you want to. Let's. So I'm from Boston. Let's spill the tea, motherfucker. So here's the thing: a lot of people are dying from pneumonia right now, but pneumonia is often, in this case, caused by COVID. Okay, so pneumonia is there are causes to it. It can also be caused by the pneumococcal. There's because we also have the pneumonia vaccine for the specific type of pneumonia, but it's secondary to COVID. So whenever someone's saying no one's dying of this, like, we have to take into account the actual statistics on this. So there was, we saw basically the Southern Hemisphere this year did not have, it's the Southern Hemisphere basically this year didn't have a flu season. It was reduced. I want to say, I read somewhere that it was 99% reduced from typical, which is crazy. So basically lockdown stopped their flu season. It's where, and once again we're seeing oh man, why am I even putting this person's name up there? Somebody just asked, have you seen the truth about vaccines? Yeah, I did. It's shit. It's absolute shit. That's crazy. But yeah, here's the thing: people are still getting these diseases, but they're getting them in much smaller numbers than in typical years. And when people are, and there are probably still people dying from the flu. But you know what's the only thing stopping you from getting COVID and the flu? A flu shot. Should probably get a flu shot too. So just saying. But it's what's crazy to me watching all of this is that people can look at doctors and nurses blowing the alarm on this all over the place. They can see that their report, these are in the news. They can see that there are reports of refrigerated trucks lining up at a hospital in El Paso, because they don't have the morgue capacity, and it's just keeping on going. They can see these reports, and there's just no pile of bodies high enough for them to call it a mountain. I don't understand where is the point at which they're like it's okay. Maybe there's no point there, or maybe there's no there's no height of, I don't know. But yeah, there are people that no matter how bad it is, it's not bad enough until it hits them. And then as we've seen from the president, even when it's really bad, afterwards they'll come out and lie and say it's not as deadly as the flu, which it is. This is the biggest mass death event in, I believe, in the history of New York at this point. I'm not sure if it is nationally yet, but it's in New York history, yes. We have, it's today officially we crossed over the 200,000 case barrier. Again, beginning of the pandemic in New York City, they were probably having caseloads this high, but no, this is the first time this is the first time that we've had over 200,000 cases diagnosed in a day. Fatalities are starting to go up. And we have to remember when we're looking at these numbers, it's very easy when you're having these conversations with people that don't want to actually have an honest discussion about it, because there are a lot of people that don't want to have an honest debate about this. They have their talking points. They don't come in wanting to have a discussion or wanting to have a debate. They just want to spread propaganda. And they'll come into a discussion about it saying, people don't die from this. This isn't that bad. And it's the death rate is X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't matter what statistics you show them, they'll go back to something saying not that bad. And the only way they're ever convinced is if they, personally end up, with, permanent disabilities from it. It's just, Stephen Reese just said, purely anecdotal, but my allergies have dropped away since I started wearing a mask. Very happy for you about that. It's funny, since it started, because we had the fires here in California, we had put up some air filters, and between all of that, it feels the air in here is much better. Let's see, this was a really good point. Let me just scroll back up so we can, pardon me. The root beer is going to my head. Stephen Graff just pointed out, how can we get the flu if everyone's wearing masks and quarantining? Yeah, and that's one of the big points, is that we're not going to get as much flu, as much cold. Like, infection in general is down throughout the world, other than the one that nobody has immunity to, that's circulating fucking everywhere. Yeah, nobody has any immunity to this. There's no vaccine to it. People are still getting other diseases. It's Aaron just asked, how do you keep your optimism? This isn't optimism. I'm smiling through pain. I smile while I'm in deep. It's just. It's kind of like how if you watch the show Rick and Morty, Rick would say wubba lubba dub dub. I smile through pain. Let's see, but yeah, like we've all the things that we've done to keep COVID down is keeping everything else down. But when I was reading up on on asymptomatic diseases earlier, because everyone's like, there's so much asymptomatic disease. I'm like, isn't that kind of normal? Like, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole in this. It turns out when you test the average person, it's not infrequent that you'll find most people have a couple of viruses kind of floating around them any given time. So yeah, we're still transmitting viruses, just most of them aren't deadly. That's what makes this one different. See, we look at all the death statistics, they're way up this year. Like, death statistics through the roof, numbers are way up. Like, at this point in the year, like it's when people are like, yeah, when people look at the numbers, like, I always check in with the New York Times, they have an article that's been, they have an article online that's been updated, daily, for the most part, on, the fatalities above the typical annual rate. And we're well above 300,000 fatalities from COVID in this country. It's far above that at this point. So it's not a quarter of a million. It's a third of a million at this point. Oh my God. Jesus. Michael Standard said, where I am, the infection fatality rate is in the region of 1.4%. If the U.S. holds everybody in the USA catches a so-called cold, that would give us 4.5 million deaths nationwide. I don't know if it'll hit. Here's the thing, like, it's calculating IFR is like, it's hard to say what an IFR of a virus is with, like when you get a new virus just plunked onto the planet, like, you need a lot of Christian just asked, did you talk about loss of taste yet this stream? I will get to that for sure. But it's so IFR is not a static thing. So beginning of this IFR, if we had just tracked this based on, we have no treatments, nothing available to help us, we thought this IFR was going to be higher. And now some countries, if we're calculating it based on the country we're in, based on the interventions they have, based on all these different things, certain countries are going to have a higher IFR and a lower IFR at the end of this than others, and it's based on their management of this, based on their tracking data, because we have to see it's the entire spread of the disease versus the number of fatalities. And here's the thing. IFR assumes that we're even capable of counting every single person who is infected. Case fatality ratio is the number of cases we can actually count. And that's where that gets tricky. Is like, can we actually figure out how many people got this? And like, that's why I've been really grateful for the data from places that have been just proactively testing people. Like, I believe early in the pandemic, Germany and South Korea were really, really, really good at proactively testing. So we got some really good data out of there. And I believe it looked like it was around 2% for a case fatality ratio, but I'm going to guess they obviously missed, a good deal of cases. They more than likely missed a good deal of cases early on. And we also have a lot more therapies now, so that's going to drop it down quite a bit. And here's the scary part with where we're at in the USA right now. With the potential for the IFRs going down. Like, it's been really good news. We've seen deaths after hospitalization go down over the months. We've seen a lot of good news from this. We've seen a couple different therapies come out that have definitively, helped, with reduced length of hospitalization, with people, reversing course on this disease. But there's something, and so thank you so much, Sharna, for saying exactly what I was about to stutter out. When your hospital system fucking breaks, your IFR is it's gonna go up. So yeah, there's when all of a sudden you have nurses going, we've got one ventilator for 4 people because everyone decided to go home for Thanksgiving and lick grandma. I don't know what to tell you. Like, and I get it that I'm preaching to the converted here. I'm preaching to the people that come here for this is like, I joke that this is church. I'm saying this, I'm saying this to comfort people that y'all are in a science, in a pro science zone. This is a bullshit free zone, where I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening with the, with the stuff. And I'm going to give you good news too, occasionally, but I'm not going to bullshit you. You can't, like, this is not the year for a big Thanksgiving and Christmas. Next year is going to be fucking amazing if we all stay home this year. And the sad thing is that, like, I know it's here. This is one thing I wanted to get to, because this is just fucking painful. One of my friends had her 1-month-old was in the NICU. Let me and I asked if I could share, if I could read some of her posts on this. She's on day 4 of her COVID infection. And, like, I've been curious, like, let me phrase this. I don't want to feel what COVID's like, but I'm curious what, going through this is like. And everyone, at this point, she's the only one in her house that's symptomatic, but, because of her 1-month-old ended up in the NICU. So when everyone's saying it doesn't affect kids, you guys, I don't know if I can get, I'm not going to show you a picture of it's just seeing a picture of her, feeding her baby through an incubator, like with gloves on through, oh God, it's gut wrenching. But, I asked permission to share, her account of going through COVID right now. And it's hard to read this, because it's just, God, someone's, this is, anyways, let me just, I was about to ask if it's okay with you. Because you guys are gonna tell me back. So anyways, here's what she got so far. Having having almost guaranteed COVID, feels like the flu, but add intestinal symptoms. I have the tickle in my throat, like I must cough, but don't usually as yet. I have a fever and aches, especially in my chest. No trouble breathing, though. I'm lethargic as fuck. Trying to get laundry done tonight. Felt like I was getting my ass kicked hiking. My eyes feel hot and hurt. My nose is stuffy. There's also a bit of a sore throat. I don't know if it's the trauma of all this or the Rona, but fuck if I can concentrate. Lastly, if I die, I politicize the fuck out of it. But that was... Anyways, she also made the point in this post about, we've sanitized, washed, we've done everything right, and this is where we are. That was day 1. Day 2, I cannot taste anything. My cognitive functioning has taken a hit. I couldn't remember my birthday. My birthday is D-Day, and I couldn't remember that. I've known, I couldn't sleep well at all. The fever chills kept me up. My teeth hurt. My teeth hurt. Teeth. My teeth hurt in the back of my jaw, just so achy. I've had no appetite. So far, besides my child in the NICU, I'm hit the hardest. We worry so much about one of my kids because of their cancer history as a teen, but they're getting better faster than I am. So, like, again, this is a family that did everything right, and the entire family, including a 1-month-old in the NICU, got hit with it. So that's awful. Day 3, massive headache, neurological symptoms continue to deteriorate. I'm dizzy all the time. Any small movement leaves the room spinning. Continued loss of taste, complete loss of smell today. No appetite. I've eaten once since Tuesday, and that post was on Thursday. Not tasting anything as a contributing factor. Why bother? Stuffy nose, very easily winded and fatigued. Coughing continued. One improvement, the fever broke. So the runny nose is gone, no sore throat, and got some sleep. So there was one thing. Let's see. And on that day, the baby got out of the hospital. So one very bright spot of good news. And here is today's update. Fever is back. And that's the thing that terrifies me about this, because whenever I see friends saying, yeah, I think I'm over this, I'm like, give it a day. Give it a day or two. Seems like this thing can come back to bite you. Fever is back. That's what I get for being so excited about it yesterday. Let's see, low grade so far though. I've been drinking calories. Leg cramps have started. Dehydrated, confusion today. Going to be winded at the smallest exertion. Getting dressed was a miserable experience. Still no runny nose, and body aches have lessened and vertigo's lessened. So that's 4 days of COVID. And I mean, it sounds like, as much as, like, as you said, it's the flu with extras, and those sound like some pretty severe extras. And I see a couple of you guys talking about your various different, COVID experiences, and like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a wuss. I don't like pain. Like as I went into detail earlier in this, I have chronic illness. I deal with chronic illness. I don't want any more shit to deal with. That sounds fucking awful. And I know that that's kind of a typical case of COVID. Like that's when we think about COVID, like we think about the kind of 3-week, like fever, flu, cough, loss of smell symptoms. Like that sounds like the classic, quote, mild case of it. Ugh, that's just, my God. So it's it's my friend that I wanted to keep her anonymous, but I hope you're better soon. Anyways, but yes. Oh man, Diane has it right. Sounds like a mashup of the flu, polio, and mono. Like, that's actually not a bad description, because like as I keep trying to remind people, like, polio both can leave you with long-lasting side effects, and as I keep trying to remind people, it was somewhere between 70 and 95% asymptomatic. So it's not unusual that we have a high number of asymptomatic cases with this disease. This is pretty typical. And let's not concentrate on the asymptomatic cases. Let's concentrate on the people that are getting, fucked up by it. Seems like the more humane way to approach this. So, scrolling through this a little bit. Henry Ortega, throwing a little rabies in there for good measure. Oh, look at that. It's 6 o'clock. We've been here for an hour. It seems like it's time for, let me take care of something. I definitely got a little bit of like my little screen cover thingy on the tongue there. I was not planning on that. That was a little taste of plastic in my day. Was not planning on. So like I need me some root beer to get that out. Okay, I'm better now. Anywho, shall we scroll on through a few more of the questions from earlier? Let's get there. It's a couple of people are talking about other symptoms. I see Barbara Froman commented, don't forget about going deaf too. I hadn't heard about a lot of cases of going deaf, but Jesus, is there no organ system this can't fuck up? I'm pretty sure there isn't an organ system this can't fuck up. That was adult. So basically it can fuck up everything. Let's see. Starling. Oh, sure. Microplastics in your gut now. It's going to cause gut permeability. This is how I'll get vaccine injury. It's from the plastic licking. Michael Sims said, damn it, I missed it. There will be another lick within the next half hour. I'm probably going to do an hour and a half today. Just because that seems like what we've got material for that. I'm gonna be back on Sunday with a science journalist friend. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. Don't worry about it. Akiko just said it looks more and more like an autoimmune disorder. It's like, I wouldn't say it's an autoimmune disorder, but it looks more and more like something that it acts. It kind of acts like they're. Later stages of it does cause it triggers the ARDS. So yeah, it causes something that I'm gonna stop stuttering and say that is an astute observation, my friend. So anyway, oh man, Susan Clark just said tinnitus is driving me crazy. I'm guessing that's secondary to COVID. That just That sounds awful. Henry just said, "Can we talk more about Rudy molting?" Like I'm trying to not talk about politics, but like I'm fine with talking about a ghoul dripping Satan and sulfur and brimstone down his face. Like I just like, what was that? I say this, I just want to say, like, I have fairly thin hair, and I do some television, and like as I don't tell you guys enough, I am on a TV show on the Weather Channel. I'm on a show called Weird Earth, 9 o'clock, 8 p.m. Central on Weather Channel. Anyways, I am a talking head, and anyways, it's oh, Russell, thank you. Stop apologizing for stuttering. It's just something you have in common with our president. I appreciate that. That made me feel a lot better, actually. Me and Joe. Here's the thing. He got his stuttering much better under control than I do. Anyways, let me scroll back up. But yeah, like, so I have thin hair and I have to occasionally be on television. And part of that is I like it to not look so thin. So there's a thing that you can, like, it's not quite the spray can. Like, have you ever seen, like, back in like the 90s and 80s, like, here's a thing you can spray on hair. It's not spray on hair, but there is like these little hair fibers that you can sprinkle onto your hair, and it's fucking amazing. Like, I looked at that and I was like, nah, there's no way. And then I was on a show and I saw them put it on the fucking host, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then they started putting it onto my hair too, and I'm like, what? It just looks like more hair. It's great, but the thing is, like, you have to. Yeah, you have to, when you're putting it on, use it judiciously. Like, I wonder. It's Henry Ortega said the fibers. Yes, indeed. Topic. There's a can of it like 3 feet to my right, but it makes me not like, part of having to be in front of people like this is you have to feel comfortable looking at your face. Like, that's kind of the shitty reality of this, is you're gonna end up staring at your face a lot. So gotta like it, and but yeah, that's Topic does kind of help with that. Anyways, but his was running, and I've never seen Topic do that unless like there's a buttload of it. And I feel like he just went with it, which is not how you're supposed to use it. And that's my theory. Now, some other people have said like they thought it was something else, but like, I feel like just the amount of sweat he had coming down could have caused it to look that dark. But oh my God, I've never seen Topic do that. He must have been just sweating like a mother. Like, all the fluid that has never come out of Ben Shapiro's wife's pussy came out of Giuliani's head. That's what happened. I think that's what happened right there. I do what I can to deliver Ben Shapiro's wife's pussy joke. Thank you. Had to. It's there. Thank you for this one, Akiko. What the hairstylist surmised was that he used some temporary color like mascara. Oh my God. Oh, he's a very like. Can these jokers just fucking stop? Like, can they just fucking stop? Like, I get it, but just like I know that they're gonna fight this election to the bitter fuck. And I get it that like there was, and I kind of actually agree with whatchamacallit, with Edward Norton's analysis from earlier. It was a really, really good analysis. It's possibly true. It's like he's just trying to fight and throw up enough of a fuss that they'll give him a pardon that he does not deserve, because he's gonna throw himself on the floor and have a tantrum otherwise. And I just, can they just stop? I want to stop. Anyways, we'll go back to the science now. I don't want to talk about politics anymore. We had a good fun 30 seconds talking about Rudy's fucking hair. Let's go back to the COVID. Oh, sorry, I got excited because somebody just said Georgia certified. But anyway, back to the COVID, children. We have very important things to do today, so of course I'm going to talk to Mr. Woodchuck first. So Anyways, this was a really good question from Russell. Can anybody recommend a book/pamphlet on why vaccines are safe? No, it's not just on vaccines, but I highly recommend, and it's not just because I'm having her for a guest on my show on Sunday, but it's because this is the book that I recommend to people when they're like, look, I have questions about parenting stuff and I have questions about vaccine stuff. I highly recommend the book, The Informed Parent, co-written by Tara Hale and Emily Willingham. Really good book, has lots of information, science-based, heavily researched by these two. So yeah, that is my recommendation. Again, The Informed Parent, Tara Hale and Emily Willingham. So I'm glad the voices are entertaining. I think my most terrifying one is either Elmo or Dr. Claw, which are of course on very opposite ends of the spectrum. So yeah, let's that's terrifying when he shows up. Let's see. People are of course still asking, or were asking in the pre-game thread. Did you find out whether you have COVID? Never got tested, but it definitely did not. If that was COVID, that was the lamest case of COVID ever. Considering that I did not leave. I'm never the one that leaves the house, and no one else in the house is sick at all. It was not COVID. Let's see. Stephanie Birio, I think, asked, can you talk about the safety of COVID on planes? I work on them and companies do deem it safe, but as of this month, we now wear more gear and carry thermometers. Oh, man. Here's the thing. It is like, I wish that I had a good answer for you. And oddly, and this is the thing that has surprised me, I've read, like, the things that I keep reading say that the odds of getting it on a plane are fairly low if people keep, masked for the good, duration of the trip. And there's some, like, I'm here. It seems counterintuitive to me. Like, that's why I look at this and go, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's in terms of safety on the plane, I would just ask you, in terms of trying to stay safe, like, the best thing you can do is ask your you say you work on them. I'm not sure if you're a pilot or a flight attendant, but if Buddy has thoughts on this too. I would say, obviously, try to have people keep their masks on as much as possible. If there can be social distancing, in seating, do so. And obviously, because it starts, your protection starts and ends with you, and masks do offer some amount of two-way protection. So if you can get your hands, I know nobody can find an N95, but if you can get yourself a KN95, get yourself one, because it will probably give you some more protection than just a cloth mask. So that is, Diane Torgensen just commented, I heard airplanes have upgraded their filters. I'm not sure if that's true, but I really hope it is. Buddy, why are you so cranky? Come here, boy. Buddy, why? Why are you so mad? He's like, because people should be paying attention to me, Mom. He is so cute. It's annoying. Like, how is he this cute? Like, look at this. What? Buddy. It's like they made you in a lab. He's like, I'm a lab dog. There you go, boy. He's like, okay, I'm done being cranky now. See, Chris Rowland commented, China has vaccinated over 1 million so far. Wow. Is that there? I had not read that yet. Is that like part of their, because they hadn't done a phase 3. Is that the Sinovac vaccine? Somebody just asked, do you see these comments over on Periscope? I do see these comments. I saw your question about the Danish study. I have not looked into it yet, but I'll look into it before Sunday, which is our next live stream, Sunday at noon Pacific. Trying to get through all of these. See you guys commenting about it's there. Henry, didn't know we have a Discord. We indeed have a Discord. The link to the Discord is at the top of it's pinned to the top of the page. Yes. Chris said their vaccine. Yes. Now here's the thing. The Sinovac. It's like, I don't. Very early on, like from phase 1 and 2, they said that it wasn't like that. It had slightly over 50% effectiveness. So, like, I don't know if that's been updated since then. But like, the reason that I wasn't too like yay about the Sinovac was that it just didn't seem like it was going to be very effective, even for, there was basically a good chance that you weren't going to get a lot of immunity off of it, and it was because, like, just, yeah, I did not have a lot of faith in this vaccine. So I'm not, like, I'm glad that they're getting this program out and running, but I'm also not, I'm also a little concerned if this becomes their main vaccine, unless the data has turned out to be better than we initially thought. But I'm hoping that it's true what the Pfizer, what we've heard come on down. Pardon me. It's what we've heard come down from Pfizer, that they will likely be able to produce over 1 billion doses by next year. So we will see. Hopefully, we'll be able to. We'll all be able to have a normal Thanksgiving and Christmas next year. That's a possibility. But, between all various places that are making vaccines that look like they're going to turn out to be effective, I mean, we so far have 2 that are well over 90% effective, which, I mean, Moderna's vaccine is more effective than the smallpox and measles and mumps vaccines. Like, that's oh my God. And Peter Edwards pointed out the exact problem with the Sinovac vaccine. Basically, the reason why it's only 50% effective is that this is one of the viral vector vaccines. It's using the adenovirus vaccine or the adenovirus the adenovirus for a viral vector for it. And people are developing immunity to. It's generally people, I believe, who have had this virus before. Their body is going, I recognize this, and they're picking up on immunity to this adenovirus, and their body's kind of ignoring that spike protein that we're all kind of trying to get your body to recognize, which is not good. So, but it seems like the good news is that it seems like over half of people are getting some immunity to the spike protein via this method. But, the bad news is you don't know which one you're going to be when you get that shot. So it's again, like I keep saying, good news, bad news. Good news, we have 2 other vaccines that are coming very quickly down the pipe to already to emergency use authorization, and we're going to have more data on them soon. So I'm going to guess. So we've already gotten Moderna and Pfizer. I believe AstraZeneca will be coming soon. I mix up which ones are working with which, but there are over 100 vaccines in various stages of research. If we already have 2 that have been shown to be this effective, that are going to be on the market, I hate using the term on the market, but you know what I mean, that are going to be available for use in your doctor's office soon. What's the next year going to bring? We're going to have enough vaccines for everybody who's not a vaccine denier by next year. And I'll be a little less scared as soon as doucheface is out of office and we don't have somebody saying, I'm not sending the vaccine to New York, which I just want to say, I know some New Yorkers who voted for Trump. For what's the old poem? First he came for everyone except. I just thought that was funny. Wonder what they thought about that. Probably didn't change their mind about him though, because I feel like once they're this deep in the cult, like nothing's pulling you out. But man, we're just, he's gonna be gone. It's gonna be okay. Let's see. Have I missed I know there were questions that I wanted to get back to that I had not at this point. Let's see. Scrolling. All right, address the airplane issue. Diane, he's never been my president because he refused to be everyone's president. Here's the thing. He unfortunately is our president, but only for 2 more months. The good news is that, and this is just the conversations I keep on having with people when they're like, what if he orders the military to? The thing is, he has no authority over the military as of January 20th, 2021. Doesn't matter what he fucking says. He's no longer the president. He can keep saying crazy things. He's not the president anymore in January. That's just how it goes. Like even Georgia's like, sorry, didn't get the votes. It's just how that goes. So here, this is a good question from again the pre hangout thread. What do vaccine companies mean by effective? Like, does it prevent the virus altogether, or both decrease lethality of it, or both? Now, I am not sure how they're calculating this exactly, and I need to see the numbers. I don't know if they've been released yet. I also haven't looked for it, so that's my own fault. But so what they're looking for is, so they get 60,000 people, and they 30,000 get the vaccine, 30,000 get the placebo, and they're like, go out, live your lives. Go out and please wear masks, but go out, live your lives. Tell us if you get a fucking sniffle. And they're waiting for 150 people to get COVID. And, they're going to do continued monitoring, but the plan is, see when you get 150 people who get this disease, and see what percentage of them had, got the placebo or had the placebo, and what percentage of them had the vaccine. And if you see, if about 50% of them had the vaccine and 50% of them had the placebo, then it's going to look like, this vaccine doesn't do much. But if you get back, if you get back, most of them had the placebo and maybe 2 had the vaccine, that seems like a really effective vaccine. So it seems like you have, like, if you get, basically if 90, I don't know if it's just straight up percentage or if it's percentage slash symptoms, or cases that have symptoms and cases that don't. I don't know what their exact calculus was on that, but that's kind of what they're looking at is, what percentage of these cases used the placebo or got the placebo versus got the vaccine. So it's like, if just a few over, if just a few over chance had the vaccine, or just a few under chance had the vaccine, that'd be one thing. But it seems like very few of the ones that got sick had the vaccine. So fingers fucking crossed, man. I say that as though it's just a, rolling the dice, and it's not. Like, we have data. Data's good. And the best part is they keep doing post-market monitoring. So those of us that are in the study, they're going to keep watching us for a while. So it's not like they're just like, hey, we got a thing, it worked. We have 3 months of data. Here, you guys can all have it. It's going to be fine. Like, they keep on following up on this. Like, we're in the study for 2 years. So I really fucking hope that, that they're going to, I really fucking hope that Johnson & Johnson does the same thing that whatchamacallit, that Pfizer is doing. And it's like, here you go. Those of you that signed up for the placebo can also have the vaccine. But again, that's just a rumor. So I enjoy looking over to whenever I look over to the comments, it's like, I'm trying to get away from politics, but I look over and I see comments about politics and I'm like, I can't get away from it's just, what I'm looking forward to is the only thing we're going to talk about politics will be is discussion about, which of the good science policies are going to happen. Cause we're going to have a president who's like, have you seen the people he's already talking about choosing from various, like, they're people who believe in science. He's putting Mike Osterholm on his COVID team, and Dr. Mike Osterholm is incredible and has been one of the voices of sanity and clear thought through this. So, that has been really nice to see. Like, I'm looking forward to that for politics for the spring. Like, I'm looking forward to really not thinking about politics, other than thinking it's gonna work. Like, it's when they're in charge, they're going to, like, let me rephrase this. They're going to work about as shitty as they always do, as opposed to what they are now. Like, it's not that I think Joe Biden is perfect or he was not even, I don't think he was most people's first choice. He was not my first choice, but you know what? I'm kind of excited about this. He seems to be listening to people a lot. He seems to be going, all right, this is a team effort. And getting people on there who are, it's as Molly B just said, over on Periscope, who are actually qualified And I like that a lot. It's Mentor just asked a question I think some people are still unclear on. I heard there was a pause in the J&J study. Is it true? Did that affect you at all? It did not affect me, and it is true. And here's the thing. It was, I believe, a person who received the vaccine, but they determined what happened to them was not at all related to the vaccine because, as we all know, a vaccine does not necessarily mean that, or getting, you can, one thing, as we know from me talking about earlier about me going, running and not getting headaches, just because one thing happened at the same time as another does not mean it caused one. So somebody got the vaccine and had a stroke. And it was determined after, like somebody has that, that big of a health thing happen, you look into it, right? It was determined to not be related to the vaccine because given it, sometimes people have strokes. That's a fucking thing that can happen, but didn't affect me at all. I had my next appointment. I'd already gotten, number one, gotten the shot, and it's a one shot vaccine. And number two, I had my next appointment on schedule. So, but yeah, that is a standard thing when there's, when there's any sort of bump in the road, to pause, look at the data, figure out what happened. But it's the good news, didn't seem to be related, and there's been nothing else at this point. So that's where we are with that. So Buddy seems to have calmed down now. So there we go. Happy dog. The heavy hippie dog. There we go. Let's see. Scrolling for a few more of these questions. I'm wondering about the legitimacy of rapid tests. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, Elon Musk, for throwing so much shade on the on people understanding how tests work. I miss when I liked Elon Musk. I don't know about you guys. I miss when I thought he was one of the good billionaires. But earlier this week, like Elon Musk wrote about that he had gotten, 2 tests that were positive in a day and 2 tests that were negative in a day, and then tried to say that, tried to pretend he knew how PCR cycles worked. But here's the thing about rapid tests. They work in a smaller window of time during your illness. So basically they start testing positive a day or two after a PCR will, and they stop testing positive several days before a PCR test stops working. So you've got like a couple day window where they work. So somebody saying, it's these things, it's basically, it's not, it's there. I think lower sensitivity would be a way to phrase it. It's lower accuracy might not be work, or illegitimate might not be the right way to phrase this. But saying that they are less. They are useful during a smaller period of time during your illness. That is the best way that I can phrase it. But that is that's unfortunate about them. Like they're great for when you need an answer very, very quickly, but it's an answer very quickly doesn't help you if you have symptoms. Like if you need to know now, and you're like, here's the thing, there's space for all of these in testing. Like it's a good thing that we have PCR and some of these rapid tests that use antigen testing, but we have to remember the limitations of them, right? So if you only get a test, if you're getting a test day one, or if you're getting a test when you have no symptoms, and you just were exposed, it's unlikely that an antigen test is going to test positive. So please remember that PCR is going to be more sensitive, and it's going to it will cover in generally the full range, or more of the full range of your illness. So that is my plug for still swabbing your brain. That's swab your brain. It's Lauren O'Brien pointed out. Rapid testing should be used frequently as they need a higher virus count to show a positive. It's the part of the reason that I'm a big fan of rapid testing, because it's cheaper, it's readily available, and it would get us a better. If we had more rapid testing available and people were getting them more regularly, we would have a better snapshot of the virus right now. There are people that don't want to get tested because they don't think it's real. Like, I think we've all looked with horror at certain places in the Midwest where people, they're in the hospital. Like we've seen nurses write about this on Twitter, and it's just, I don't even know what to say to this. People go, they get there, they know they have it. Like the test says they have it. Their lungs are failing. They're being intubated, and they're like, nah, I have lung. They'd rather have lung cancer than COVID because they're just so in this cult. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, what you could, like, the thing is, you could get better from this if you just behaved. Like, I wish this wasn't all so crazy. This never, and I know I feel like I write this for a caption on an article at least once a week. This never had to be so bad. Is that, hold on. I keep thinking, is that the house next door throwing a party? I'm probably gonna I'm gonna add this to my Amazon wish list later. I'm gonna add like a bullhorn onto it because my goal just to give me some like deep visceral pleasure. I really want to take a bullhorn and just like to the house next door, like some night during this, just be like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Just like I'll do that. Like I'll do that for Patreon content this fucking month. I think that could be fun. It'd be a good time. Someone just said add it. I'll do that right fucking now. It won't be an expensive one. Like here's the thing, my Amazon wish list, like there are a couple things on there that I don't expect anyone to ever get for me because they're absurdly expensive. And then there's mostly candy. Hold on a second. It's bullhorn. All right. 800-yard range. Adding to Amazon wish list. Someone said, this one does siren noises too. Like if I get 3 bullhorns in the mail, just you fucking talk this shit out. Like don't send me like 6 bullhorns. Gonna have to return a few of them. Just anyways, it's on to the. I just think it'll be fun to drive around LA, randomly stop in front of people's houses and be like, this is still a pandemic. I also think I could get arrested for doing that. So I should probably look into like zoning laws on these things. I don't know. It's Ian King asks, will you be wearing pants? Who knows? It depends on what phase of the apocalypse we're in. Who knows? Oh God, Russell. Russell, I think you're just trying to fill up my house with small appliances, anything that makes a whirring noise. I'm okay with it. Look, it's all the Thanksgiving cooking starts this weekend, and I am very grateful for my immersion blender, Russell. Very grateful. You have no idea. That thing is just a marvel of physics. It's fantastic. So, oh my God. You guys are funny. Let's see. Molly B asks over on Periscope, do they know how long the vaccine antibodies will last? Let's see. I do not know how long. Like, I'm not sure. I would have to double check on that. I read an article I read an article in the New York Times recently, I think, that said that they believe it will last for quote years, and that would track with what they've seen from SARS. Is that they do have long lasting, at least T cell antibodies. So we will T cell, B cell. Anyways, it does seem that there is lasting immunity to this. So we'll see. But the good news is because it does seem to last for so long from SARS, because the virus itself mutates relatively slowly compared to the flu. It does tend to mutate about a third as quickly. It's likely that if we have to keep on updating this regularly, either to keep up with mutations or to update our own immunity, we might only need a booster every 3 years, which is doable. I'd be okay with doing a booster on this every 3 years. I could show up every year for my flu vaccine. I think we can get people on board with boosters every couple of years, but that depends on how much how much it mutates, all that kind of stuff. So things to keep an eye on as we go. I'm clearly running. I can't tell if I'm over caffeinated or under caffeinated, but I definitely had definitely had a little too much caffeine earlier today, and that will make me trip over my words because I think my mouth is trying to say all of them at once. That it increases the stutter. I appreciate you guys saying don't apologize for stuttering. I feel like I can talk a little more clearly sometimes. So I like I said, overdid the caffeine. So moving on, it's Buckwheat over on Periscope just said Catwoman headphones. I love these so much. They've been. I need to show you guys that just this little thing can come off. So when I say I redid the look, I'm 12 and I glitter glue gunned the sparkliness. When I say I redid them, oh, I redid. Like it's not coming off this time. It is glued the fuck on. Hold on, where is this? Oh man. Here's the thing about this being like mirror flipped. Like I cannot tell where anything is going when I'm looking at whatchamacallit, at the screen. Oh, go over. You can do this. Eek. Oh no. Look, chemistry is easy. Putting on kitty ears, therein is difficult. Look, a lot of you guys were asking when I was going to fix the kitty ears. I thought that was important. Pulling the wrong one over. Look, mirrors are confusing, okay? This is, if let me rephrase this. The image on the screen is mirror flipped, which is good for some things, but really bad for, fixing your cat ears. It's not good for everything. So, Akiko, the more glitter, the better. This is my back of my cell phone, so concur. Indeed. Very much concur. See, scrolling through. Somebody just said, I wonder if I can send a Sibian. Look, I'll fucking find one on Amazon. If one of you guys feels like they're expensive, I'm just saying. I think that would be it. That would be a. Hi, Mom. Sai Mom has entered the chat just in time for you guys to talk about sending me sex toys. So, well done, people. Well done. She has seen. Well, she hasn't seen. Like, I mean, she's heard it all. Like, she's my mom. Like there's not, like, she's aware of the podcast that I have, and she hasn't had a heart attack yet. Like, if you want to understand the deep coolness of Sai Mom, when I got my tattoo, and it's a little bitty Red Sox tattoo on my hip, her reaction, unlike all of like my friends' parents who were like, if you get a tattoo, I'm kicking you out of the house. My mom saw my tattoo. And her reaction was, oh, I want one, because she's likewise a Red Sox nut. So I just wanted to she's a deeply cool mom, and she's a good mom too. Like, it's both. Anyways, good mother. I'm a fan. Of course, I only you get one, so it's just she's neat. So anyways, we're so. It's about that time. There's obviously one more of these things between now and Thanksgiving. I'm very excited about that. Thanksgiving is. I just wanted to want to close this off. It's Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I'm very sad that I can't be home with my mom for this. I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat, of course. But yeah, I'm very sad I can't be home hanging out with my mom. But here's the thing: if I skip this Thanksgiving, I get to do all the other Thanksgivings. If we skip this one where it's turkey's going to taste great after we're vaccinated. We'll actually get to taste it because we won't have gotten COVID. I've heard that your taste buds do some fucked up things after you get COVID. So look, just hold back. Stay the fuck home. I binge watched The Crown this week. Apparently it's good. Who knew? Everyone knew. But like, you stay home. There's so much to watch. Like, there's amazing TV. There's amazing YouTube. There's so much to do. There's so much porn to catch up on. Stay the fuck home. You don't have to argue with your awful uncle about Trump this year. Like, how many years have you sat there going, man, I don't want to go home for Thanksgiving because I don't want to argue with that. You have the best fucking excuse ever. So like, and I get it. This is not for those of us that are like, I don't want to argue with the Trump relative because we're already staying home. But yeah, it's really awful watching people kind of march to their doom knowingly when we've done all of the warning, because like we all know what's going to happen. They're going to be because we've seen this every, wave of this thing as it's gone up through the roof. They've somebody just mentioned the Queen's Gambit too. Oh my God, I watched that and it was amazing. It's like, it makes me want to start playing chess, which it's that good, which I think that was the point of it. But like, this is, Robert just asked, where's the mythical witch, the whistles? So there are a couple different ways you can support the channel. One is joining my Patreon, which gets you some perks. One is by dropping a little bit of cash into my PayPal, which, it's, who doesn't want to just, spoil me. And the other is a very last link in the description of this video is to my Amazon wish list, which, I have been sent an absurd amount of candy and adorable fuzzy socks in the last few weeks. Thank you so much. I love fuzzy socks. Fuzzy socks make me happy. But the different ways you can keep me alive and going. Keep a science communicator off the street. Dump $1 into our Patreon. Anyways, but yeah, I get it. These warnings are not for the people who are already staying home. These warnings need to get inside a tightly controlled fucking bubble that I don't know if we can ever get into. So the best I can tell you is cases are going to get really bad in the next month. And so the little bubbles we had, like, how we had, we kind of had little kind of social bubbles that we'd formed with people who were behaving themselves. We'd had these bubbles with people that were that were like, yeah, I'm staying home. Those bubbles, even though your friends are behaving, other people around them are not. This is a season where the best of our efforts are being hurt by the people on the people in the group projects who are not doing their work. They said they would, they are not. So don't it's you gotta, if you're gonna have a social bubble, nobody comes in the house. Like we're doing porch guests. They're sitting 10 feet away, masked. Like it's where nobody's coming in, nobody's going out. Like that's just it right now. We had like some people in the house, and I was not a fan of this, but they were being careful enough that we somehow, in a house of 10, this is amazing, in a house of 10 people, no one has gotten COVID yet, including 3 20-something musicians in Los Angeles. Somehow, no COVID. My husband, goes to work in his lab every day. We still have a couple people. I believe 2 people working full time. No one's gotten COVID. I don't know how. But like we had a couple people who went to the bar, and they went to outdoor bars. I'm pissed at one person who, when someone went to hug a stranger, hugged him, and he hugged back, and I'm like, what are you doing? I was not there. I was told about this later. I was like, what were you doing? And he was just like, well, what am I supposed to do when someone goes to hug me? I'm like, just stop, say it's a pandemic and don't hug them. Don't let them. That's what you're supposed to do. Russell said, you're a good influence. Like, I think part of I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason that we've managed to stay safe is that I'm here fucking yapping and everyone's, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Like, don't you disappoint Mrs. Santi Saibabe. But like, it's a statistical anomaly that we've managed to have this many people that basically would have operated as separate households, all stay safe this far through the pandemic. It's been lucky, and it's been a lot of good decisions, and it's been a lot of me being like, no, don't you dare. But I'm very happy that everyone's followed the rules and kept us all safe. It's been I mean, we live, like, when I say it's a commune, like we live communally. It's not like roommates ignoring each other. So it's nice that we've kind of taken care of each other that way. I feel like I love my roommates even more for that. But yeah, that's what's happening here. But yeah, guys, just stay home. Like, it's not it's not safe right now, which sucks. But that's like I said, like when the world is open again, and I say this only half jokingly, anyone can get a screen. It's you can all get a cheek lick who consents to one. But it's just to close this off. I love you all. And I will see you on Sunday with my good friend and science journalist Tara Haley. And I don't know if this is going to shake down. I'm working it out with a couple of my housemates. We might have a bit of a Christmas song sing along thing on Thanksgiving. Like I said, where that might have been discussed over a couple of joints last night, as you do. So I'll see if I can rally up the troops on Thanksgiving. But anyways, I love you guys. If you aren't around on Sunday, I love you and have a wonderful socially distanced Thanksgiving. Take care of yourselves. Mask up. Stay home. Bye.